Hey guys, this is Saurabh from AllAboutTechnologies, and in this video let's do a speed test comparison between the OnePlus NORD and the Poco F1. Now this battle is between the current higher mid-range Snapdragon 765G processor with a 2-year-old flagship Snapdragon 845 processor. So it will be interesting to see how far the mid-range processors have come in the past 2 years. Now, if you enjoy such interesting videos, then do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such amazing videos. Now, without wasting any further time, let's begin. As you can see, Poco F1 is definitely ahead of the OnePlus NORD in boot time, but let's see who is actually better in opening apps and memory management. Now, to be fair, both the phones were updated to the latest software and even all the applications were updated. Before we start, note that both the devices are connected to the same Wi-Fi network. No apps or data was present on any of the phones except for the apps I will use in this test, and no apps were running in the background. With that said, let's start with the speed test. Let's start with Twitter. And here there was clearly no difference as both loaded the content at almost the same time. Let's move on to the next application, which is Instagram, and this time it's clearly the NORD who loaded the newer content faster. So that's a good start for the NORD. Let's see what happens next when we open PUBG on both the phones. So surprisingly, it's OnePlus NORD once again as it loaded the game faster. Although the difference is less than 1 second, so not a big difference. If we talk about the graphics settings in HD, you only get high on the NORD, whereas you get ultra on both HD and balanced on the Poco F1. What I really didn't like is that even after paying 25 to 30k, NORD only supports smooth ultra, which means you can only do 40 FPS PUBG gaming on the NORD compared to 60 FPS gaming on a 2-year-old flagship. So hopefully OnePlus will push out an update to add the smooth extreme option soon. Moving on to Amazon Shopping and Prime Video, in both the applications Poco F1 was ever so slightly faster, but the difference was very marginal. Now note that both the devices support Widevine L1 and you can watch TV shows and movies in Full HD on Netflix and Amazon Prime. But with the NORD you also get HDR support on Netflix, which is amazing. Coming on to the Facebook application, both were once again equally fast, so I won't give it to one specific device here. Next on the list is the Asphalt 8 game, and let's see if this time Poco F1 will beat the NORD or not. Alright, so clearly NORD was slightly faster, but once again the difference is less than a second. I was expecting the same with the Temple Run 2, and that's what actually happened. So no surprise here. With YouTube, there was no difference, and even with Play Store, the difference was very minor. Now strangely, Zomato was not loading properly on the NORD, so I closed the application and reopened it on both the devices, and in the second time NORD was faster than the Poco F1. So as you can see, with most of the applications there is a very minor difference between both the devices. In some applications NORD is slightly faster, whereas in couple of apps Poco F1 is slightly faster. Now what is clear is that NORD is definitely faster than Poco F1 in opening games, and we have seen it with all the games on this list. So as you just saw, even Call of Duty loaded first on the OnePlus NORD. Now moving on to the next application, which is Google Maps. And here surprisingly, it was Poco F1 who loaded the application first. Coming on to the last application on the list, here we will slow down the clip and then save to the gallery. So let's see who will do this faster. So as you can see, it was the NORD who slowed down the clip faster, but when it comes to saving it to the gallery, it was the Poco F1. Overall, in app opening, I will give it to the OnePlus NORD as it was faster, but that does not mean that Poco F1 was slow or anything. It was just that F1 was falling ever so slightly behind in games and some other applications. Now let's see how is the memory management on both the phones with 8 GB of RAM. Now as expected, each and every application on the list was in the memory of both the phones, so multitasking on both the phones shouldn't be a problem. Although one thing I noticed with the NORD is that it feels better in day-to-day operations because of the 90Hz display, so I thought of mentioning it here. Now for those who are interested in benchmark scores, with Antutu, Poco F1 scored around 7 to 8% more, whereas with Geekbench, NORD just crushed the Poco F1, so you can see the scores on the screen right now. And as I always say, don't focus much on benchmark scores, just ignore them if possible. Last but not the least, I did an internet speed test and here are the results. No difference at all in the speeds. So overall, Poco F1 in my opinion is still a very powerful device and it gave a tough fight to the NORD. If you already own a Poco F1, I don't think it will be a wise enough decision to spend close to 30,000 on a NORD for performance at least. That said, if you are looking to buy a new phone in this range and performance is something that matters to you the most, then stay tuned for my speed test comparison with the Redmi K20 Pro and the Realme X2, as they offer flagship processor for almost the same price. And guys, note that I will compare 8 GB versions of both the devices with the NORD. So subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss out those videos. If you found this video helpful, then do give it a like, as it just means a lot, so please hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, then don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications, because only then you will get notified about those videos which I am planning to post in the next couple of days. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more updates. And guys, if you are planning to buy any of these devices, then all the links will be there in the description box. Do use the links, that will definitely help out the channel to make such amazing content for you guys. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. This is Saurabh Nahar. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.